Well, I would say Benavidez, but he's too, you know, that weight class is too high for him. So, you know, where he's at now is great.
David, do you think Crawford will fight you if he beats Canelo?
Nah, I wouldn't fight Crawford. I'm at 175.
And Terence Crawford?
No.
No, ain't doing that fight. Maybe planning on vacating the belts?
No, we ain't gonna vacate the belts.
Coach Brian Bomack. McIntyre made headlines shortly after the fight when asked about Turki Alalshikh's suggestion of setting up a fight between Terence Crawford and David-Benavidez. Bomack flatly rejected the idea, saying Crawford didn't need that kind of matchup.
What does this performance prove about the end of sparring? You guys were largely
I told you it don't make no difference. Didn't I say it? I said that don't mean shit. I don't give a damn about that.
Yeah.
I said that, didn't I? In one of those interviews, I said that. Don't mean shit. Because he's no Bud Crawford. I'm not taking nothing from innocent, you know, Bozy, them over there, them my guys. Shit, but bringing in that, which is good for Canelo, but it didn't do no good in the fight.
He also reminded fans of the time he discussed how sparring with Jaron Boots Ennis wouldn't benefit Canelo Alvarez, since Crawford is an entirely different breed compared to Ennis. The whole Benavidez discussion was actually sparked by Turki Alalshikh himself. Just hours after Crawford's monumental victory, the influential Saudi boxing figure tweeted, "Congratulations to Terence Bud Crawford on his historic win and for becoming the first ever fighter to be undisputed in 3 different divisions." Also, a huge shout out to Saul Canelo Alvarez for an incredible performance. Then, teasing the next move, he asked, "Can David-Benavidez still make 168 pounds?" Trainer Greg Hackett addressed the sudden talk of Crawford versus Benavidez, saying it wasn't a serious consideration, but rather hype and money-driven. He emphasized that Crawford doesn't need Benavidez to legitimize his career and pointed out that Benavidez would struggle to cut back to 168 after already moving up to 175.
Try to test his limits, and he think the money is going to keep getting him out there. That fight is pointless. The fight is pointless because nobody ever talked about that fight until now. And then I don't feel like Bud needs a Benavidez. And then that would mean Benavidez would have to go into a different body and bring himself back down to 68 when he's already getting settled in at 170. And I don't think Bud care about fighting Benavidez. That's just Turkey trying to pull rank. It's Turkey trying to show he got a golden arm.
Hackett explained why the Crawford-Benavidez conversation was mostly artificial. He framed it as Alalshikh showing his promotional power, but warned that boxing should still make sense beyond just spectacle.
Crawford is top 4 greatest fighters of all time. Do you understand how improbable this is? I thought Bud had no chance. I lost 20 grand. Not only is Terence Crawford on my Mount Rushmore, like I said, if he were to win, because the probability of him winning against all the odds, I couldn't see it. I couldn't see how.
One major narrative heading into the fight was whether Crawford could add another weight class to his resume. Some commentators had claimed he was already a 4-division world champion. Technically, he was not. Critics like boxing analyst Chowbaz often questioned whether Crawford had truly earned his hype through elite-level opposition, arguing he hadn't been tested enough against the very best.
The class he put together, that guy, he can face anybody in history and be a problem. Him right there. Not only that, I think this cements the fact that everybody avoided him. This right here answers everything. Not only is Terence Bud Crawford on my Mount Rushmore, but everybody avoided him. And that sheds more light on how he beat Errol.
That criticism fell apart after this historic bout. By moving up in weight and dismantling one of boxing's most established champions, Crawford forced even his harshest skeptics to reconsider his legacy. Chowbaz captured that shift in real time, documenting how the fight changed the perception of Crawford forever.
Contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence Bud Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
By stepping up 2 weight classes to 168 pounds and unifying all 4 major belts, Crawford became the first male boxer in history to be undisputed in 3 separate divisions. That's a record no other fighter has achieved. So while the 4-division undisputed label was inaccurate, what Crawford did was still historic. After his loss, even Canelo Alvarez showed humility at the press conference, praising Crawford and admitting he believed Bud was the superior fighter.
Benavidez had some tough tasks in front of him that he wanted to conquer before even talking like that. I don't even think he wanted to talk like that because there's really no point. He wanted the Canelo fight because Canelo was the man at 68 and he was at 68. I don't think.
During the fight, veteran journalist Dan Rafael shared his ringside impressions. Having covered the sport for decades, he noted that while Canelo looked sharp in the early rounds, it was Crawford's composure and ability to take control down the stretch that stood out most.
A lot of history. He dreamt this fight. He willed it to happen. A lot of people, not me, but a lot of people laughed at him, said, forget about it, no chance against a bigger guy like that. To Canelo, because everybody who has ever read me, followed me, listened to me knows I love Canelo. I think he's one of the greats of all time. I think you can make a really good argument that he's the greatest Mexican of all time, even more than Chavez. That said, he is in decline. He's been in decline for the last few years. He hasn't been what we've seen him at his best since he beat Caleb Plant, that Caleb Plant, Billy Joe Sanders time frame. And, even though he's winning fights, the knockouts haven't happened. He's gotten tired in the later part of the fights, and it's just common. It's the oldest saying in boxing: "Father Time is on the."
Rafael expanded on his thoughts, stressing the historical significance of the win. He said this wasn't just another fight handed to Crawford; it was the one he had dreamed of his whole career. For years, many doubted Crawford could compete with naturally bigger opponents. And Rafael highlighted how this fight proved those doubts wrong.
I had Crawford #1 pound for pound back in 2017. I always acknowledged him as the best counterpuncher in the game, one of the great counterpunchers. But I didn't see him as Sugar Ray Leonard, Floyd Mayweather, Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson. I didn't see him as that. I saw him as the tier of greats right below that. Oscar, Shane, Mike McCallum, guys like that. And it turns out, no, he's with the best of the best.
Boxing writer and analyst Sean Zittel also weighed in, saying Crawford's reputation had reached new heights after the Canelo victory. Zittel admitted he recognized Crawford as pound-for-pound elite as early as 2017, but hadn't placed him among the sport's absolute legends until now.
The effect on Crawford, I know Crawford felt it, but he had good punch resistance. He came up in weight beautifully. And then as time went on, his jab and his length, around that third and fourth round, really started to give Canelo fits. And then, #1, his bread and butter, his gift. Yes, he's got great tactics, great distance control, efficient footwork. He doesn't, and he took the air out of the ball when he wanted to in this.
Zittel broke down Crawford's technical brilliance in the fight, noting how he absorbed Canelo's power and showed surprising punch resistance at the higher weight. He explained that Canelo lost rhythm once Crawford established his jab in the third and fourth rounds, ultimately seizing control of the fight. If you felt the electricity of this showdown, smash that like button, share this video with fight fans, and drop your thoughts below. Would you rank Crawford among the all-time greats? Don't forget to subscribe. The next chapter of this sport is only getting bigger, and you won't want to miss it.